this video, we're going to be taking a look at the secret history of Lisa Kudrow. Phoebe Buffay, as we all love to call her, from the TV series Friends, has to be one of the most adorable and silly TV characters of the last 2 decades. But not all is as it seems in Lisa's secret world. Stay tuned to discover the true extent of her cosmetic surgery, why she was sued by her long-term partner, and the truth about her dating her friend's boyfriend. But first, when you think of the character Phoebe, what words spring to mind? Ditzy? Crazy? Weird? Well, it turns out, despite her character on Friends, Lisa was actually one of the smartest people on the show. Turns out you have to be smart to play dumb. So just how smart is she? Well, she has a Mensa level IQ of 154, which puts her in the top 2% of the world's population. To put that in perspective, Albert Einstein's IQ was 160. So with smarts like that, it's no wonder she found it so difficult to play the role of Phoebe at first. In the first 3 seasons of the show, Lisa really struggled with the character, and in an interview with Kevin Nealon, she said,
I had played dumb girls, for sure.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really me. I feel like I tricked him.
Really?
At the audition, I was the only one who could cope with the audition process, and that's how I got it, I think.
It was only after a talk with her co-star Matt LeBlanc, who played Joey, that she was able to settle into the role and find her feet. Perhaps the only thing that Lisa really has in common with Phoebe are her wacky songs. Remember Smelly Cat?
Smelly cat, smelly cat.
Oh my god,
I know.
I sound amazing.
Well, it turns out that Lisa actually came up with the tune herself. In fact, by the time Friends ended in 2004, Lisa had written a total of 55 songs throughout the series. Yeah, that's right, songs like The Cow in the Meadows Go Moo,
Oh, the cow in the meadow goes moo.
Ross Can, and Sticky Shoes were all written by Lisa herself. But of course, Lisa's talents went way beyond songwriting and acting. You see, after graduating with a degree in biology from Vassar College in New York, Lisa actually worked as a medical researcher for 8 years while breaking into acting. And to this day, she still places a huge emphasis on education, and she remains a member of the school's board of trustees. Funnily enough, she wasn't really planning on becoming an actor. She used to think that actors were, quote, egocentric people with bad judgment. That is, until a close friend of her older brother and a former host of Saturday Night Live, John Lovitz, convinced her to try out for the popular LA comedy troupe, The Groundlings.
Oh, hello.
I'm excited to have you on my show.
Oh, you know what? Please don't.
And that experience with improv comedy gave her her first taste of acting, which became a turning point in her life. I mean, just imagine what Friends would have been like without her. And speaking of which, her role in Friends wasn't originally considered to be that of a main character. That happened as a result of what we might call a blessing in disguise. You see, she was originally cast to play the role of Roz Doyle in Frasier in 1993, but after just 1 pilot episode, the directors thought she wasn't good enough, and she was replaced by Peri Gilpin. Quite a fortunate event as it turned out. She then auditioned for Friends in 1994 and performed so well in the role of Phoebe that it was later switched to become a main character. And unlike the 2 other main female actresses in the series, Jennifer Aniston and Courteney Cox, who were plagued by accusations of cosmetic surgery throughout their time on the show, Lisa has largely kept away from those sorts of headlines. But that's not to say that she hasn't had surgery herself. It turns out that back when she was a teenager, Lisa actually had a nose job. According to her, she thought that her nose was too big. She said, quote, I went from, in my mind, hideous to not hideous. I did it the summer before going to a new high school, so there were plenty of people who wouldn't know how hideous I looked before. That was a good change. It's hard to imagine how she would have turned out without that confidence boost. Maybe, who knows, she might have been a science nerd beneath huge thick glasses. Speaking of confidence, she wasn't feeling very confident when she first met Michael Stern, a French ad executive who would later become her husband. Their first encounter sounds very much like an episode of Friends. Michael was actually her roommate's boyfriend at the time, but although he was dating her friend, for Lisa it was very much love at first sight. It was kind of heartbreaking when she realised she couldn't make a move on him because he was with her roommate. She said, quote, "I was so afraid anyone would see that I liked him, so when he'd come to pick her up, he'd say, 'Oh, hello Lisa,' and I'd say, 'Hi,' and I'd go and leave the room, and he thought I was a freak. They went out for 2.5 months, and 6 years later, I met him again at a birthday party, and we just never stopped." Funnily enough, Lisa actually dated a celebrity before meeting her husband. His name was Conor O'Brien, the former US chat show host, and although they only dated for a short time, she credits him as being a very large motivating factor in her career, and she still considers him a friend to this day. Unlike a lot of Hollywood celebrities and Hollywood marriages, Michael Stern and Lisa have kept their marriage happy and are free of scandal. They have one son named Julian, who is also into acting and cinema. That's not much of a surprise considering little Julian was already on set even before he was born. In season 4 of Friends, Phoebe appeared pregnant in several episodes, and that was actually a pregnant Lisa Kudrow. The huge bulge on her stomach wasn't prosthetics, that was little Julian. So it's no surprise that with such dedication and commitment to her career, she earned a lot of money. In 2005, Lisa was listed alongside Jennifer Aniston and Courteney Cox in the Guinness Book of World Records as the highest paid actresses of all time. When Friends first started, Lisa was one of the lowest paid stars of the show, earning about $13,500 per episode. But the pay gap didn't last long, as the entire cast, quite famously, and one of the first mainstream shows to have ever done so, they adopted a group negotiation policy, meaning none of the cast would accept being paid any more or any less than any of their co-stars. By the 9th and 10th seasons of Friends, their collective value had skyrocketed, and Lisa, alongside the rest of her cast, were all earning a whopping $1 million per episode, which is roughly $45,000 per minute that she played Phoebe. What do you think? Do you think she was worth $1 million an episode? I guess it's worth pointing out that even to this day, the Friends cast still earns around $20 million a year just from reruns of the show. And get this, the show still earns Warner Brothers, the producers, $1 billion a year. With that in mind, should Lisa have actually been paid more? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, Friends wasn't the end of the road for Lisa. After the show ended, she appeared in several comedy movies and series, and also had an interesting career as a producer. In 2008, she launched Web Therapy, a hilarious comedy show about a quite incompetent and self-obsessed therapist, in which she was both the main actress and the producer. She was also the executive producer of the NBC series Who Do You Think You Are?, a show she first saw in the UK and then brought across to America. The show was nominated for an Emmy Award in 2012. With several awards and 10 Emmy nominations, both as an actress and a producer, she's had a very successful career. But all success stories have a bump or two along the road, and Lisa is no stranger to drama. In 2008, she had a serious fallout with her longtime manager and business partner of 16 years, Scott Howard. Howard sued Lisa after claiming that she'd breached their contract. According to him, they had a verbal agreement where he was entitled to earn a 10% commission on all the revenue she made while he was her manager. He claimed that the deal was still active even after Lisa hired a different manager. This meant that all the money that Lisa earned from Friends reruns, originally filmed while he was still her manager, he would be entitled to 10% of those earnings. Lisa, for her part, refused to pay him the $50,000 that he demanded, and her argument was that she'd actually paid him $11 million while they were still working together as part of that arrangement. She also claimed that that arrangement ended when they stopped working together. Unfortunately for Lisa, the courts disagreed, and Howard won the case, with Lisa being made to pay $1.6 million in compensation. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. I bet she wishes she'd just paid the $50,000 he was asking for in the first place. Speaking of lawsuits, you definitely want to check out The Secret History of Judge Judy, which is on screen now. If you think Lisa earns a lot of money per episode, just wait till you hear how much Judge Judy makes. And do me a favour, if you've made it this far to the end of the video, show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel for lots more videos like this. Thanks for watching, catch you on the next video.